Why did the truth behind Taehyung's terrifying break-in suddenly twist into something far darker than ARMY ever imagined? What secret motive was powerful enough to make Jungkook demand immediate justice and insist that the culprit be arrested without delay? Before you dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to keep this investigation alive and support the channel as we uncover every shocking detail hidden beneath this unfolding storm. What if everything ARMY believed about the break-in at Taehyung's residence was only the surface of a much deeper, far more disturbing truth? What if the motive behind the intruder's actions wasn't simply recklessness, obsession, or a random act of danger, but something calculated, personal, and deliberately aimed to break the peace that Taehyung had carefully built over the years? These questions have dominated global social media for days, yet none of them compare to the one question that exploded online this morning. Why did Jungkook suddenly step forward and demand that the person behind the breach be arrested and prosecuted immediately? The world has been holding its breath since the night Taehyung's home was breached, an event that shocked fans, security analysts, and even insiders who believed that such a violation would be nearly impossible. But what shocked everyone even more was the emotional shift in Jungkook, who had previously chosen silence, restraint, and patience while the investigation unfolded. His sudden refusal to remain quiet has raised eyebrows everywhere. What did he see? What did he hear? And more importantly, what did Taehyung confess to him in the quiet moments nobody else witnessed? The investigation into the break-in had initially been described as inconclusive, ongoing, and sensitive. Yet rumors began circulating about the tone of the security team, how their expressions grew more tense each time new evidence emerged. Some insiders hinted that the intruder was not a random outsider, but someone from a circle close enough to know the structure of the home, the timing of Taehyung's schedule, and the gaps in the perimeter that should have been impossible to locate without prior knowledge. But no one dared say more. No one wanted to believe that the person responsible had been studying Taehyung for longer than anyone realized. What changed everything was the whispered rumor about a single piece of evidence, an item reportedly left behind during the intrusion. No one could confirm it, no one would reveal what it was, but leaks hinted that it pointed to a motive far more sinister than obsession or wrongdoing. It suggested intention. It suggested knowledge. It suggested betrayal. And when this was shown to Jungkook, witnesses said the air inside the room shifted instantly. His shock turned to fury, his composure cracked for the first time since the case began, and he demanded that the police stop delaying and arrest the culprit before it's too late. What exactly did he see? What truth snapped Jungkook's patience in half? In the days following the incident, Taehyung's behavior added even more layers of mystery. Those close to him described him as tense, shaken, and unusually quiet. He was said to have moments where he stared at the floor as if replaying something he could not escape from. Other times, he reportedly clutched his hands together as if he were fighting off a memory he couldn't bear to revisit. And when Jungkook visited him privately, there were whispers that Taehyung finally broke down, not from fear of the break-in itself, but because he recognized something about the person responsible. But why would Taehyung freeze at the mere mention of the culprit? Why did Jungkook ask investigators whether they had checked the intruder's past interactions, online footprints, and personal history with the group? And why, after hearing one particular update, did Jungkook's expression shift from worry into pure, unfiltered rage? Theories began spiraling online. Was it an ex-staff member? A disgruntled insider? Someone pretending to be close to them? Or worse, someone who had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike while masking their intentions behind a friendly face? Every possibility sounded darker than the last, but the public couldn't shake the possibility that the intruder knew Taehyung personally. The break-in showed signs of planning, familiarity, and a disturbing level of comfort moving through the house. Someone unfamiliar would have panicked. Someone random would have been sloppy. But this person moved with eerie confidence, enough for investigators to suspect that the culprit had been studying Taehyung's home for months, maybe even longer. The emotional weight of the situation became even more intense when whispers emerged about Taehyung's reaction during his statement to investigators. According to an insider who described the moment as heart-shattering, Taehyung reportedly hesitated mid-sentence when asked if he recognized anything about the intruder's behavior. He looked down. He exhaled. His voice cracked before he answered. And when he continued, the room reportedly fell silent. Whatever he said, or refused to say, was enough to make the lead investigator pause the questioning for several minutes. Meanwhile, Jungkook, who had been present outside the room, was informed of the exchange shortly afterward. His reaction was immediate. His face turned tense, his hands clenched, and he asked one question that left everyone in shock. Did he know the intruder? That single question triggered a chain of speculation and panic online, spreading like wildfire among ARMY, who began piecing together every clue that had been quietly surfacing over the past few days. Jungkook's public statement later that evening only deepened the mystery. His words were short, direct, and sharper than anyone expected. He urged authorities to act fast before things escalate further, and insisted that the culprit be brought to justice. Fans who witnessed the footage described Jungkook as furious, scarily determined, and unwilling to tolerate even another minute of delay. It was a side of Jungkook rarely shown to the public, protective, emotional, and filled with urgency, as though he believed Taehyung was in more danger than anyone realized. What pushed him to that breaking point? What deeper truth was he now aware of? Insiders have hinted that the motive behind the break-in may not have been theft, vandalism, or even personal obsession. Instead, whispers suggest that the culprit may have been driven by a purpose far darker, the kind of purpose that explains why they took such enormous risks, why they entered the home so confidently, and why they left behind a clue that could only be interpreted as a message. What kind of message? A threat? A warning? A reminder of something Taehyung has been hiding? A signal that the intruder wanted Taehyung to know exactly who they were. Investigators refused to confirm anything, but the emotional responses, from Taehyung's silence to Jungkook's rage, have painted a picture more vivid than any official report could. Something is wrong. Something is very wrong. Something about the case feels deeper, more personal, and more painful than the public was ever supposed to know. And now the question burning through global fandom is whether the culprit was someone Taehyung trusted, someone he once knew, someone whose motive is tied to a past Taehyung never wanted to revisit, someone who saw his vulnerability not as something to protect, but something to exploit. What will happen now that Jungkook has demanded immediate action? Will the truth finally be exposed? Will the police reveal the motive ARMY fears the most? And will Taehyung find the strength to confront the reality that has been haunting him since that terrifying night? The world is watching. ARMY is waiting. And the truth, whatever it is getting closer, darker, and more explosive with each passing hour. If you think this story must not be buried and deserves to be uncovered completely, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps this investigation alive and pushes this narrative forward until justice is served and the truth finally comes out. The pressure surrounding the case intensified overnight as more details emerged about the psychological impact the incident had on Taehyung. Observers who had seen him after the break-in described him as unusually fragile, as though the shock had peeled back layers he had worked so hard to hide. He wasn't just dealing with the fear of a home invasion. He was wrestling with a memory triggered so violently that even saying a name, one specific name, was enough to stop him mid-breath. And when Jungkook learned about this reaction, his worry transformed into something far sharper, something that resembled a vow. What terrified fans even more was the report that Taehyung initially tried to protect the identity of the intruder. At first, he insisted he wasn't certain, that he didn't want to make assumptions. But the tremble in his voice suggested otherwise. He looked away whenever investigators pushed too hard. He swallowed his words as though trapped between fear and